Good morning, everyone. Good morning, Ma. We're
Good
here.
morning, Divya. It's nice to see you all, including you, Divya, smiling,
Yes.
happy and waving at everyone.
Yes, it's super exciting to be on the Sunday Collective early mornings. And today I see that you've left the window open because summer is officially here in New Delhi as the temperature heats up and changes.
And you invite the new energies into the world and into your homes and into the light-filled bodies of every cell of your home, so that there is goodness, there is auspiciousness, there is, well, we all played Holi and we let go of a lot of negative energies, and we are sparkling with the bright colors of the rainbow, and everybody is anointed with good fortune and spreading it forward for the human race, for the planet, for the worlds externally, for all the souls that are congregating to celebrate with us. And, sometimes I think that Vedic understanding is so immense that there are 33 crore Devi Devtas or angels of light surrounding the planet and taking care of the human race and the plants and the flora and fauna, and everybody has their own ministry of activity and authority to take care of the world that we are living in, and they're all so blissfully engaged in their devotional service for us. And sometimes I feel that as human beings we are not reciprocal enough, and we don't understand the concepts of how to reciprocate, how to do things. So I always encourage people that do it in your own time, own space, whether you're feeding somebody hungry or watering a plant or leaving a few seeds for the birds, or even giving some money in donation, in a gurdwara or temple where they're doing meals for travelers and spiritual, temple goers and car sevaks. Everybody is getting the langar and, the food that is spiritualized, and it's like Mahaprasad. So people are partaking of it and still not really understanding the true essence of the evolution of the human race and how our spiritual connections keep us entrenched in great, sanity. Let's put it like that, that the mind, the 13 trillion cells of our brain are thinking, and they're like our brain is like a computer that is accessing thoughts, and you can introduce any concept, any knowledge, anything into it, and it's going to expand. And we don't know about the future, right? I remember 30 years ago meeting this young boy, and he was very excited about what he was going to do in the future. And he said, "Auntie, tell me. So when I looked, I told him that you're going to, do something in the sky, which is going to move." So his parents immediately said, "Oh, so he's going to be a pilot, and he's going to, is he going to be in the Air Force? Is he going to be a helicopter pilot?" And I kept saying, "No, I don't see him piloting anything, but I see him doing something that's moving in the sky." And, I'm happy to report today he's one of the head people in the technology department, and he's looking after satellites in the sky that are giving access to Google and
And a lot of other masks.
search engines. When we press something, we want to go to a website, and how the downtime takes a few milliseconds to download everything. So it's the satellites that are beaming down. And so 30 years ago, the concept of evolution of thought and construction of ideas that what our children or what human society will do in 30, 40 years from now is unfathomable. I was reading somewhere recently that when we were growing up, we used to see the telephone, and there was a cable that was put underground, and then we would get connections of the phones into our homes, and we would call people. And then I remember seeing this movie, The Aliens, in which there was this concept about how, she could see, right?
Yes, ma'am.
And then we thought that it was impossible. Wow, what a thing, what an idea. And then very soon we had the iPhone and we had the FaceTime and then we have Zoom and now we have InstaLive and everything is,
Yes.
and there are no cables. It's just like something.
It's wireless connection.
Wireless connection. And I think maybe 30 years from now they'll put a chip in our brain and we'll just have to think and the numbers will be dialed. And now we have that, what is it, the artificial intelligence, and they say, okay, call this number.
Yes.
Can you connect me?
Yes.
And the people are obeying the sound of your voice, right? And so it's very interesting, the evolution of thought and construct and communication, basically.
Yes,
how it's entrenching itself and it's moving forward, and we are all moving ahead. And there are still some truths that are very, very difficult, the concepts to understand, about human behavior and human intelligence and human thought, and how we take certain decisions in our life and what is the impact of it. And that's what, the basic thing is that when we are going through our life, we're not really paying attention to what we are doing. We're just spontaneously doing it. But when we come to the end of our life and we are ready to be cremated, then our life becomes a story, and it's a history of a generation, and what we did and how we did it and why we did it, and what was beneficial, what was detrimental to the well-being of the family. There could be somebody who's alcoholic and fritters away all the wealth, right?
Yes,
so the next generation has to start again with rebuilding their lives. And then there could be somebody who's really worked very, very hard and not spent anything and leaves all the wealth for the next generation. So, we have to see what we are doing and why we are doing something. And if I look at the history of human evolution, I always find that spirituality plays a very, very important role. And, in the past, we talked about chanting mantras and going to temples and going, to religious places and doing the namaz and doing the Shabad Kirtan in the Gurdwaras and the churches and the Hail Marys and, whatever religion you're born into, you practice. But then there's been this evolution. I think I was in school in the early 70s, maybe, when there was the love movement and the hippies, and maybe it was the late 60s and 70s. And then everybody was talking about freedom and freedom of expression, and then there came even, the people didn't want to wear clothes, and there was bras were being burnt in Times Square, and I remember some part of it, that everybody was just freaking out and saying that no, we do not want to be controlled, and we will do this differently and we'll do that differently. And I think the next generation is also looking at how they want to do things differently. But there are some fundamental truths in human evolution that you cannot control, that are repetitive, that are synchronized with how we take birth and what, energies we access, what is the intelligence of the parents who are bringing us into this world. What are they going to do with us? How are they going to nurture us? How are they going to love us? How are they going to teach us how to study, how to hold information, how to share information, how to share the collaborative thought of goodness? And eventually it will be about how each one of us individually takes a decision every moment. Even right now in this collective, we are listening and we are talking and we are sharing. Or I'm doing all the talking right now. I'm sure some of you will share, and Divya will also share some of her thoughts. So we are also initiating a change of concept and thought and entrenching and spreading some new consciousness and new, way of thinking. And it's called the healing way, right?
Yes.
So prayer was also a healing way, mantra and meditation is a healing way. Healing by itself is a healing way, and good actions and thoughts and words, everything is like healing, or it can take you down into the pits of depression and despair as well.
So as we go through this evolution, even in our own lives personally and with the world at large, and like you have sort of, I think, taken us on a whole journey of the human experience, that how do we then access the grandeur, and are always the mysteries always good, or sometimes the mysteries can be negative, like as today we're discussing the mystery and grandeur of the human life or the human experience as I interpret it. So what exactly is this grandeur that we can access in our own self and in our own environment?
So I can share with you a Vedic story to explore this. And I think it's about King Vikram Aditya, the story that I'm going to share.
Yes.
And there was in his kingdom, there was this very, very opulent sculptor who, was making all kinds of sculptures, and he was selling them at great value, and people were admiring his work and all. And then one day he had an idea in his head that he would like to make a statue of Misfortune.
Oh.
So he sculpted this beautiful, huge statue, and he was very impressed with his work, and people came and they looked at him and they asked him, who is she? They said, oh, it's the goddess of misfortune. So then he was really, like, they were a little bit shocked. Why would he spend so much time, so much effort, so much money, and so many years to make the statue? And then he was very crestfallen because nobody really wanted to buy that statue and place it in a place of authentic visibility, so that other people could come and see the kind of work and the research that he had done. So he went to King Vikramaditya and he said, I'm very sad, my work has not been appreciated, and I'm now at the edge of finishing all the wealth that I had because nobody's bought my work, and I'm a little bit depressed.
Yes.
So King Vikramaditya said, okay, I love this statue, I love this work, I'm going to buy it. And he instantly bought it and installed it, right, in his palace.
Wow.
And that night, when he went to bed, suddenly he had a vision, and a part of his, body, an energy came out and stood in front of him, and he looked at her and he said, oh my God, you're the goddess of wealth.
Yes.
So thank you for giving me darshan. So she said, yes, I've lived with you in your kingdom, and you have been very sweet, and you've been a great king, and I really like this. But now you brought the goddess of misfortune, so I can't stay here with you in your kingdom. So I'm leaving. So King Vikramaditya folded his hands in great awe and thanked her for having been with him all this while. And he, allowed her to go. So then he was just about falling asleep, and he realized that his body was becoming very, very weak. And then he saw the personification of Hanumanji. So Hanumanji looked at him and said that I have been your strength all this while, and I have given you every aspect of my energy. But now that you have the goddess of misfortune, I have to leave. So then he thanked Hanumanji also, and he said, thank you, and thank you for being there. And he was feeling very weak and frail and everything, but then he said that, if he wants to leave, it's his free will, and, he thanked him for blessing him all these years, and with awe and reverence, bade him goodbye. Then, just in the early morning hours, around 3 or 4 in the morning, he suddenly had the sudden wakefulness. And he found that from his third eye chakra and, from the top of his head, Goddess Saraswati had separated herself. And then she said that, I can't stay because I've given you all the wisdom and everything, but now I have to leave. And thank you for, being with, using my blessings and taking charge of your kingdom and all, and now I have to go.
Oh, wow.
And so then he thanked her also for being with him for all this while and all. And then just when he was about ready, half asleep, waking up, he suddenly saw that from his heart chakra, courage was walking away.
Oh.
So he said, "Where are you going?" He said, "You have the goddess of misfortune, and I have to go." So then the king said, "Go, not at all." So there was like a fight and a thing. And he hugged courage so tight. He said, "Everybody's left me, but you can't go. I'm not going to let you go at any cost." And so there was a long battle, and many words were exchanged and all. And finally, King Vikram and Aditya said that, if I lose the courage, then everything's going to be gone. So courage, you cannot go. So he hugged and hugged and hugged him and pushed him back into his heart. And he said, "You will stay." And then what is the end of the story? That because he had the courage, goddess of wisdom, Saraswati ji also came back. Hanuman ji also came back with the strength, and goddess Lakshmi also came back. So, the real structure of the story is that, the Devi Devtas, we may think that they are separated from us, these angels of mercy and grace and continuity. We may think that, we don't have their blessings and all, but these are all part and parcel of our inner state of consciousness. And finally, it's the courage that we have. That's why, I teach in my seminars that the light of the healing in the heart is that energy of courage and determination and will that seeks divine intervention and appreciates that intervention and helps you walk ahead. And everyone is working for the human race, and there's lots and lots of blessings. And that's why it is very important part of a healer's duty is to have a few minutes of time with the self in contemplation, so that you can really become best friends with that inner wisdom, that inner strength, that inner wealth. Because nobody outside is really coming. Like in the physical world, people are, sometimes letting you down, but the divinity, those aspects of the energies that are surrounding planet Earth, they are never really letting you go. They're always embracing you and sheltering you and loving you and comforting you. And in that moment of contemplation, what are you doing? Why is it so important? Is that you're reciprocating. You're grateful, you're thankful, and sometimes also you're seeking, I remember that sometimes people say that, I do drugs and, I have such a great illumination and I am so centered and, like I can see things and I can do things, And then, one of my Gurujis had always told me, it's like, yes, you are at the summit and you're seeing something. But because you haven't climbed the mountain, you don't really know what seeing is all about. Because there's a lot of visions as you're going around and climbing the mountain that increase our wisdom, that give us revelation and give us the scenic beauty of the milestones of our life. So finally you reach somewhere and you don't know where you've reached. So it's like a big crash after that effect of that drug is worn off.
And sometimes maybe also because I'm just connecting Ma as you're speaking, that sometimes when it's sort of like you're being plonked somewhere or dropped somewhere, and so you may not even know the context of where you are and what you have to access actually from those realms, even though maybe you've reached them forcibly or via a shortcut through the drug use.
And when you become connected to healing, the guru or the master who's initiating you is taking you to the heart. And from the heart, where there is divine intervention, there is love, there is compassion, you begin the journey of accepting that love at the throat chakra, and then you ignite your wisdom of spiritual consciousness and forgiveness and tolerance and knowing that finally it's about you, it's not about what the world is doing outside. And then you can always live at the crown chakra consciousness and come down to work in the heart every day. So it's like a lift going up and down, and you are able to communicate, you are able to visualize and comprehend and keep that goddess Saraswati very entrenched. So that's how I would explain this anatomy of the human being and how the human being is always interacting. And finally, at the end of life, we are either buried, cremated, and we give our energies back to Mother Earth. So Mother Earth is a great co-conspirator and co-traveler and co-motivator. She motivates us to do a lot of things. And remember that just as we have the human species and we have families and we say these are our relatives and these are my friends, and there are people you meet, chance acquaintances who become very important. So the same way, the animal kingdom and the birds and the trees, they also have co-travelers with them. They also, the trees have roots that find their soulmates, so to speak, and they support each other. And it's the same way that the rivers, the waterfalls become rivers, and then the rivers go to the ponds and the seas and the lakes and finally to the ocean, and then finally becoming water vapor again, and in the water cycle coming down as rain. So everything is like full circle.
So that is the mystery, and the grandeur is in that.
Is in that.
How beautiful, Ma. So we have Anukriti who says, what a beautiful story, ma'am. Courage cannot leave. And then we have Binu, Dad, and Umang, and Purnima, who all are saying, wow. And they're like sending their love. And then we have Malika who says that, Renooji, you're looking so beautiful. Love you.
Thank you.
And then we have Pashwati who says, good morning, Master.
Good morning. I hope you're all very connected to your Sunday morning. And I think that I was thinking, what is that one essential thing that everybody should do when they come to the Sunday Collective? That they should affirm that we are open to receiving all the healing energies coming from Divya and Renooji.
So sweet, Ma.
Yeah. Because if you are open to receiving, then you are really going to receive transformational energies that are going to create new thought, new vibrations, new actions, and new words. And when you speak new words, new language, then the universe is going to respond in different ways.
Yes, and then we have Mohit who says, morning, ma'am, and Divya, love you both. We love you too.
So very sweet. Mohit, I miss you.
And then we have Sheetal who says, happy KQ anniversary for yesterday. Yes, love you, Sheetal.
Oh, yes, we had a great time. We had a lovely meditation and we spent many hours together connecting to the purpose of healing and why we should continue to heal, get connected to the KQ force and heal. The KQ force is the karma quotient force that helps us to evolve through our karmic resonance and to unravel those parts of good fortune that have been stored, tied up in little bundles by us ourselves. And we think we are not worthy enough to receive that good fortune. So yesterday was a great day to open those bundles of good fortune and to take them forward.
So that actually takes me to a slightly different question, but since it's come up, then what is really the mystery and grandeur of the healing light? Because you connect us to so many healing modalities, and I think that is the real essence of at least my human life, is being, of course, connected to you, Ma, and then you giving us these gifts and these treasures. For me, that is the grandeur. And the mystery is sometimes, how should I channel the light or be a good KQ healer or be a good connected force with my golden cloud?
So basically the grandeur is that all these realms, like I said, the 33 crore realms of divinity, if we can visualize that they are in some cosmic universe, through which they are flowing with love for the planet Earth, and then there are other planets as well. We are not the only planet where human beings, there are other planets where there are other souls as well who are doing the same things that we are doing here, and maybe in a different time frame. So we are all interconnected, and there is transference of knowledge. Like I said, Saraswati ji is,
absolutely.
and then there's Hanuman ji who's giving strength and valor, and then there is Goddess Lakshmi who's taking care of our finance ministry, right? So let's look at the grandeur of the other realms.
Yes, Ma, you're going to tell us about the grandeurs of the other realms.
Realms where there's a lot of beauty, there are lots of magnification of opulence, and there is unconditional love, and there is compassion and kindness, and there is forgiveness, and there's freedom from doubt, and anger and fear and all the negative aspects of the human mind. And when you get connected to healing, you start downloading those energies. It's like you're being showered. It's like just going for a shower in the morning, and you're being bathed by this droplets of water that are coming at different speed. In the taps nowadays, you can control the speed of the shower, and sometimes there's like rain showers. People install them in the bathroom. They want to feel completely entrenched. So the same way we are opening ourselves when we get connected to healing, that we are entrenched in that downpour of immense grace, and it feels like an embrace of deep love. So there's the greatest love, the greatest compassion, the greatest forgiveness, and the greatest honor to be a healer and to spread that light, and giving and giving and giving to every living being on planet Earth. So you could be healing the squirrel. You could, yesterday somebody shared that they had found this owl that was caught in some brambles, and then they were brought her out, and they were healing her, and then she was refusing to fly away, and then they just kept waiting, and after 5 minutes of intense healing, she had the courage to fly away.
Wow.
So you can touch the lives of all souls. It's not just human beings. And of course, human beings is also very important. So a teacher could be very compassionate and teaching her students different lessons. It could be history, geography, maths, English, all the different languages.
Yes,
and computer languages now. There's lots of computer teachers who are teaching all the different languages on the internet, how to use, how to work with the technology and codes and different things. So finally you have to see who you want to become, what part of that network you want to plug into, and what is your time, place and circumstance, because the electricity is flowing. If it's hot, we are plugging in our air conditioning and we're cooling our places down. And then when it's winter time, then we're plugging into the same electricity. Then we're creating warmth and heat.
But the source is always the same. It's the same electricity. Yeah.
And then we're using it to put the oven and bake the cake, and the fragrance of that is very, very distinctly intoxicating for the human body.
Yes.
Because it triggers a response of love. Right? When you fresh baking, whether it's bread, whether it's cakes, whether it's chapati, whatever, there's an aroma that is very intoxicating and satisfying.
Mm-hmm.
And you experience that somebody is doing it for you, so you experience that love in that moment.
That intense connectedness.
Yeah.
So with that, we have a few healing requests, Ma.
Yes,
Should I go to that?
Yeah.
So just to experience this love further with the healing light in you. And so Parul Kashyap says that, Dear Ma'am, requesting healing for my agitated mental disposition from these last few days.
Yes, I think it's a very good thing that you should take 100 grams of black sesame seeds, tie them in a black cloth, and keep them on your bedside table for 3 days. And then on the upcoming Tuesday or Saturday, whichever day you choose, since you won't complete 3 days on Tuesday, so do it on the Saturday. Take it and rotate it around your head 7 times, clockwise and anti-clockwise. So it'll be 14 rotations, and then go and leave it under a peepal tree or any tree. and that will take away the fogginess from the brain and the anger and the compulsive behavior of old patterns of helplessness and despair, because there are lots of planets are changing. So this is a good one. And then of course drinking lots of water that is different colored waters, So how can you do different colors? I'm not saying that go start drinking Blue Lagoon and then just get different colored bottles and fill them with water and leave them for a few hours. And then you can drink, and the sun's light, the moon's light, the energies of your home, your own good thoughts, and some healing symbol will really create magic in those bottles, and then you can drink the different colored waters. And so what are the different colored waters that would be good for you is yellow and red.
For
energy, yeah.
Specifically.
Yeah, because it's for health and for strength.
Beautiful.
So she's feeling some weakness. So that would be very, very... And of course, wear yellow and red clothes. That's the simplest.
Oh, wonderful.
Eat yellow and red fruits.
Red fruits and foods.
Fruits like tomato and carrot and maybe some pumpkin and bananas and pineapple.
Or just put some haldi in rice
in
also
rice,
and have them in rice.
And or milk with haldi.
Sorry, Ma.
Turmeric.
Yes, turmeric.
Turmeric coffee. Chai. Whatever you like to drink.
That is so immediately doable and helpful, and so really grateful, Ma, from all our side.
No, other people can also do it.
That's what I'm saying, from everyone. Yes. Yeah. Yes, Ma?
I said that everybody can do it over the next week or fortnight, because Saturn is changing. So it's before it goes, it can leave some residual helplessness.
So then we have Tiny Auntie and the Mehta sisters sending their love and hearts and lots of joy that they're here on the Sunday Collective. And then we have Parshvati, who affirms and states with gratitude that, Dear Master, I'm open to receiving blessings and healing from you all through 7 days, 24 hours a day, throughout 365 days. So grateful to you for taking care of me and my parents. Love you so much.
You've shortchanged yourself. You should say till the rest of my life and beyond.
Yeah. Not just in the year.
Yeah, so the healing energies will go all the way.
The healing energies?
All the obstacles in the way, the hurdles, and your negative plans and negative thoughts and, your bad bosses and your unpleasant neighbors, whoever it is.
Beautiful.
So you just flow through with love and more love. And travel the world.
That's amazing, Ma. And then we have Anu Malhotra Rena, who says that she is requesting your help and advice. So Anu, if you would like to ask your question in the comment section, I'll be happy to relay that to Ma, to Renooji. And then we have...
Otherwise, she can seek an appointment through the office.
Yeah, of course, if it's a very large issue and a personal question, then yes, you can seek an appointment from the office, and you can go to renooji.com, which is RENOOJI.com, for all the information. I'll put it and tag it in the comments. And then we have Anahita, who expresses her gratitude for all your daily messages and guidance, Ma, as she says that it is the different spheres and healing magical downpour that you connect us to. And I agree. And then we have Simran Sani, who says that what can she put? So it's the same, Simran, what Ma...
If you're having fogginess in the brain, then you can do the same.
Mm-hmm.
So the two planets that are really working with the human race right now is Jupiter. So that's eating all the yellow and harmonizing and balancing. And it's the black. So the black sesame seeds are the greatest way to eliminate toxic waste from your aura.
Oh, wow.
They're great healers, the sesame seeds, yeah.
Oh, beautiful. And then we have Dr. Mona Bhatia, who joins us and says, thank you so much, Renooji, for being our guiding force, inspiration, and for your healings and blessings for my family. So very grateful. Every Sunday Collective is a new vibration and energy.
Yes, and I love you. And you should say, I'm open to receiving everything.
Everything. And then we have Archana Chawla, who requests healing as she has food poisoning.
Okay, so a good way to heal that is to take some coffee or tea leaves and steep them in water and pour them into a potted plant. So it will heal her.
Beautiful.
Of course, take medicine. I'm not saying that this will fix it.
Yes.
But it's a good separation of... And stop eating brown things for a few days.
Okay.
So no potatoes, no bread, and no Coca-Cola. You know, like people have food poisoning and they think that drinking Coke is so rejuvenating. No, it's a bad idea. So lots of water, drink lots of water. It will cleanse the system. So what are the other questions?
Yes, so we have a few more healing requests. I'm just scrolling through now. So we have Binu, who requests for her knee pain. Then we have Ritu Auntie, Puneet Taneja, Mamta, Dhingra, who are all just expressing their love for you, Ma. And
I thought you're saying they're all having knee pain,
No.
because knee pain is happening to a lot of people. Because people who are going through a particular cycle of Saturn are experiencing body pain, hip pain, knee pain. And so a good thing is to donate potatoes.
Okay. That's interesting.
Yeah.
Okay,
brown
donate
thing.
potatoes to ground the energy.
Yeah. And donate it to a temple, gurdwara, or to a poor person, even to your maid.
Okay, so you can just donate like a katta, like 10-12 kilos of...
Or even 1 kilo.
1 kilo is enough. Okay. And then I think related to Ma, this upai that you've given,
Yes.
Mamta Carol asks that, Master, should we put the black sesame seeds in a black cloth potli?
Yeah, or you cut a little 12-inch by 12-inch black fabric, new fabric, and then put it, and with the rubber band, just tie it up so that it doesn't fall and spread all over the place, because you're going to keep it on your bedside table for 3 days.
Oh, wow. So I'll take one more healing request, as this person might be going into surgery. It's Ritu Gautam Chadha. I think her son, Sarthak, is advised surgery for, I think, a deviated septum.
Oh, so that's
a in and out surgery.
Yeah, we'll send healing.
Yes.
Let us know the date. We'll keep him covered, protected, and healed quickly. We are ending the session.
We're just about to end it. I'll just take 2 questions and 2 requests.
Yes.
So we have Nitya, who asks, any particular day to donate the potatoes, Ma?
Any day is good. Right now. As soon as we finish, you can run and do it.
And Mitali is asking that, can we, instead of putting it on the side table, can we put it
in
under
drawer.
the pillow?
Yeah, of course. You can, under the mattress, wherever it's safe.
Okay. Wow.
Because I remember I'd given this upai to somebody and they had a pet dog, and the dog in the night thought it was like an alien, and so he had shredded it all over the house. He had taken it in the mouth and, to investigate. And so they had it all over the house, and they said, I said, Shani is just being very benevolent and wants the flooring of your house to also be healed. So that was a quick fix.
That's a very
instant.
quick fix.
Then they had to repeat it again, of course.
Oh, wow.
Because the benefit of that went to the dog, not to the master. So it was very sweet to see.
Oh, wow. And then we have a healing request from the Philippines for their husband to have clarity for his business.
Oh, okay.
Okay. And I'm just looking at that there are 2-3 more questions.
I'm always
And
happy with
expressions.
questions.
Yes.
It makes me think that people are really listening.
I'm just scrolling, Ma, sorry. So then we have Mr. Ash, who has a very interesting question, and I think we can begin with that question when we come back.
What's the question?
The question is that he asks that in the Bhagavad Gita, on the battleground of Kurukshetra, Lord Krishna is in dialogue with Arjuna, the warrior, and he is referencing, Mr. Ash is referencing chapter 11, verse 55,
Yes.
where the Lord asks for devotion unto him in all doing.
All doing.
So Mr. Ash is asking that, ma'am, can you please expand on that? Grateful.
Yes.
So we'll expand on that when we come back.
Perfect.
And we'll share the shloka as well. We'll begin by connecting to the shloka. So lots of love and light to everyone. We'll be back in exactly a minute.
All right, love you.
And yes, as a final message, Nelson says, hello, ma'am, Renu, love from Colombia.
Oh, hello.
So yes, come back, Nelson and everyone else, and Mr. Ash, and we will continue on this journey of discovering the mysteries and grandeurs in everything within us and outside of us. Love you, ma. See you in 2 seconds.
Love you.
Welcome back to the second session for today's Sunday Collective on the mystery and grandeur of the human life and the human experience. This is me, Divya, with Renooji, and all of you, welcoming you back. Hello, hello, hello.
Hello, hello, hello. Everything is in the threesome.
Yes.
You, me, and them.
Yes, and the light, the guru, and the divine.
And the authentic master with the authentic lineage and the authentic student.
Student. And so we go to a very authentic text and connect to Mr. Ash's question about verse 55 from chapter 11. And as everyone is joining in, Ma, for those of us listening or those of the Sangat who may not know what is the Bhagavad Gita, what would be the simplest way to define it so that they can have a tether and an anchor to the journey that we're about to take?
So what was that? I was
Sending
doing some
healing. I was saying that for those of us who are joining in, who may not be from a Hindu or Indian background, how do they understand what is the Bhagavad Gita? And
The Bhagavad
how can
Gita
they tether
is
themselves to this conversation
So
and
if
this
they
revelation?
if they are Sardar, they will talk about, they'll connect to their Guru Granth Sahib, or if they follow Islam, it's the Bible, the Quran, and if they're Christians, it's the Bible. Everybody has an authentic text of knowledge, and the Bhagavad Gita is the song of God, and it's the text that has been permeated through sound into our cosmic, from the cosmic universe into our universe, into our ears, and we are the worthy recipients of that igniting consciousness of Saraswati ji's bestowing of intelligence. So whether it's the Gyan or it's the knowledge, whether it's the understanding, everything comes from the sound of the Bhagavad Gita. That's why Bhagavad Gita is to be heard. And of course, I'm going to take you to that. It should be tasted. You should smell the fragrance of it. You should touch the truth of it, and you should inhale it.
I love that. And so before we begin, we pay our obeisances to the presence of the Lord in the form of Mahavishnu as Krishna. And so Ma, if you could lead us in a chant to connect us to the knowledge, to the descent of this bounty.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. 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 Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Krishna 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 Hari 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 Rama 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 Hari Hari. Hari Krishna 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 Hari Hari. Hari Rama 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 Hari Hari. Hari Krishna 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 Hari Hari. Hari Rama 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 Hari Hari. Hari Krishna 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 Hari Hari. Hari Rama 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 Hari Hari.
So connecting to chapter 11, verse 5 of the Srimad Bhagavad Gita, where the Vishwarupa Darshanam is exalted and Krishna is speaking to the warrior son Arjuna. And so he says, Mat karma krinmat parmo mad bhaktah sangavarjitah nirvaira sarvabhuteshu yasamamiti pandava. Mat karma krinmat parmo mad bhaktah sangavarjitah nirvaira sarvabhuteshu yasamamiti pandava. Mat karma krinmat parmo mad bhaktah sangavarjitah nirvaira sarvabhuteshu yasamamiti pandava. Krishna speaks and says, telling Arjuna, those who perform all their duties for my sake, and those who depend upon me, forsaking all others, and those who are devoted only to me, it is those who are free from attachment, and those who are without malice toward any and all entities and beings. It is this and only that devotee who certainly comes to me. O Arjuna, the son of Pandu, hear me, hear this. Fix your mind unto me. Fix your cause and depend only upon me, considering me the supreme, devoted only to me, thereby achieving a freedom from all and any attachment without malice toward any and all entities.
So sweet, that was really nice.
Yes, ma'am. So could you tell us the mystical, magical and applicable in present modern times of what is stated here?
Yeah,
unpacking it for us.
Unpacking it. So, I'm just going back to a lecture on this, Bhagavad Gita verse that I had heard Srila Prabhupada explain. And I'm just going to quote some parts of that. And then, of course, Bhakti Charu Maharaj, who was my Shiksha Guru, I've also heard him discuss this chapter and this particular verse many times. And it's all, explained very practically, that you don't become a devotee just by picking up the Bhagavad Gita and reading the shloka, or just by chanting the holy name. So, Srila Prabhupada said that you have to be really immersed in that knowledge from day one, even before you came into this universe. And he always started the explanation by sharing with us that, what is a real devotee. He has to be initiated into the sound of devotion by the parents even before they have sex. They have to have a bath with some holy waters, and they have to whisper into each other's ears that they are engaging in this to invite a soul that is a devotee. And in that exchange of the seed and the egg, and the creation, the nuclear explosion, and the child and the devotee, manifesting in the womb
downloading
of the mother,
in the womb of the mother,
downloading into the womb of the mother. That at that time, when the woman really understands that she's impregnated with the new soul, then at that time there is a circle of the family that celebrates and unites with that soul and chants mantras, and is through the sound vibrations of even chanting of the shlokas. And the mother is advised to keep a picture of baby Krishna on her bedside and smile at him every day, that may the soul be very exuberant, very loving, very compassionate, very full of the sounds of this union. And when the child is born, the father actually has to whisper the Mahamantra in the soul's ears, so that these ears become resonant of all the sounds that the soul is bringing from previous incarnations, or his service in the spiritual worlds, or in the direct, Vaikuntha, where there is no complaint, where Krishna himself is dancing and singing, and you're also engaging. And so you're bringing that knowledge into this family, into this lineage, into this moment. And then, of course, is the Namkaran Sanskar, which is, on day 10 or 11 or 12, depending on the lineage that you're following. And then comes the taste of, the father, when he's whispering those sounds in the ears, he's actually inviting the soul to suck the truth. It's not just suckling at the breast of the mother, but that milk, that Shiro Daksha ocean that's flowing from the mother's breast, is igniting that soul with the consciousness and the divinity and the intelligence of knowledge that is coming from that realm into this realm. And that soul will then be purifying the life and the karma and the situation, and being the progeny for this lineage, this next generation, of the family. Then comes the tasting of the milk, then comes the tasting of solids, that when the baby's Annaprashan ceremony is performed, and it is that they have the ability to chew away all the obstacles and the hurdles in their life, and they are able to deal with material nature in a very opulent way. Then comes the ear lobe piercing, at age 7 months, where again these are the lobes of intelligence where it's pierced, whether it's boy or girl. In the olden Vedic times, everybody had the piercing. And it was to ignite new consciousness, that the material, of what you have to do in the material world and the spiritual is like a mishran. It's like an eclectic mix of the goodness from both realms, and how you're going to use that and performed. Then, of course, came the hair cutting or the Mundan ceremony, where all the karmic resonance that was in the hair is wiped out. And so, the karmic pot or the Kundalini Shakti energies are then downloading through those Vedic mantras and through the sacred thread ceremony. That they are inviting the Lord's direct intervention into their life, and they're always going to be reminding themselves every moment that they are devotees of the Lord and they're going to be in service to the Lord. Then, of course, I missed one in the middle is, of course, Saraswati ji is the first akshar that the child writes, is on Vasant Panchami, when Saraswati ji is directly giving her knowledge in that pot of plenty. So you invite it into your karmic home. And then comes the next is about taking steps outside the home and going to study and going to college or to Gurukul or serving the Guru and gaining the knowledge, the Vedic mantras, material life, how to live it, how to be a good son, to be a good husband, to be a good brother, to be a good father. All these things are imbibed in the first 18 years of your life. And then comes that big step forward when you are, taking that knowledge to gather some, material wealth to sustain your lifestyle and do all the functions of being good father, good son, good brother, and everything else, and taking responsibility for society, taking care of, the animal, the livestock, taking care of the plants, doing something for the future generations of the family, supporting the community, supporting your country, supporting the world that you live in. And then came the final point is where you are spiritually awakened, or where the Guru is giving you Diksha. And in that moment of Diksha is ignited the flame of this shloka, where you are then going to use your body and instrument of consciousness of your heart and your third eye chakra, that you're going to chant the mantras to purify not only yourself, but the 7 generations before you and the 7 generations ahead of you, that they're all going to be devotees and they're going to be purifying their intelligence to take the right action, not say the wrong words in anger and hate or have fogginess in the brain. If you are focused on the illumination of Krishna, then there's no fogginess in the brain. You know exactly where you're going and what you're going to do, and Krishna is going to guide you and he's going to speak, because all the 33 crore Devi Devtas are in association with you because you are devoted to him, and they're giving you the nectar and the wisdom and the taste and the sight to see the truth, hear the truth, smell the truth, taste the truth, touch the truth, and act in truth. And that truth is that you have to, use this body and this life to do functionality at a permanent basis. Now, somebody would say, oh, I got married and, I had children. So every day you can get married to the light. Every day you can start with the attitude of gratitude. Every day you can do something, whisper something that, you've not done before and you would like to do with the generosity of your heart. And you can chant the mantras, you can, connect to the shlokas, you can connect to the Virat Roop or the light body of Krishna and the benevolence that he spread, and the sounds of the Bhagavad Gita still resonating in your home. So the day you connect to it, then they're going to download into every pore and cell of your body. Remember, I said 13 billion cells of your brain. They're going to be impregnated with that sound, and then you're going to act from that cleansed environment of heart, and whatever action you're going to do is perfect action. So when you are a devotee, means that you're acting in synchronicity with everything that you see, hear, taste, touch, and smell, in consciousness that these 5 senses are also awakened, because Krishna is in your chit or chetna, which is your Chidakash, which is the space behind your third eye chakra or your forehead, where the entire spiritual cosmic universe is impregnated. You're not separated from it. Every one of us is impregnated with that consciousness, that vision, that ability to see and to hear and to dovetail. And somebody is creating music, somebody is painting, somebody is writing, somebody is working, they're creating computer languages, they're creating the chips. Remember I said that they're going into your brain and you're going to just think and everything's going to be
happen.
And you can maybe transport yourself from one place to the other without taking an aeroplane or going in the car, or nowadays of course we have vehicles with electricity, and we are not using petrol anymore sometimes, like pollution, because we have done so much of disservice to Mother Earth. So when you become a devotee, you become very aware of all the gifts that the divine has given you. You're very thankful for your body. So what if it's paining? So what if it's foggy? It still can act in devotion, can still do things. You can love your home, you can clean your cupboard, you can cook a nice meal for yourself, or even cook khichdi. Doesn't really matter, whatever you're cooking. Do it with love and devotion like you're doing it for Krishna. That is the ultimate devotion, that everything that you do, even when you're dressing yourself in the morning, you're saying that I'm doing it because I want to be presentable, because Krishna is going to look at me. So you're going to be very neat and clean and, cleansing your body and dressing your body and being fit in your body and serving the divine. So that was what I heard, and that's what I'm sharing with you. And of course we can go into a very much deeper intellectual discussion about this, but I think for the basic community of healers that are listening, this is a lot. So you can impregnate every moment of your life with those 16 steps of the solar sanskars, and you can be singing and dancing and playing some music and doing the KQ dance. Somebody wrote to me that they did it after a long time and they felt so connected. So it's not only going to vibrate wherever you do it, the energies are going to spread, and the cosmic dances of the light. It's not so much about the body. So whatever you're going to send out, those are the vibrations that you're going to get back. So be devoted and chant the Maha Mantra, and then every shlok in the Bhagavad Gita is directly impregnated into your cosmic universe at the third eye chakra, and you know exactly the most appropriate behavior in that moment, and you will do it. Then of course when you go out to earn, and you earn money and all, there are sanctified instructions about how you have to give a certain amount to your family or for your children, their education, their future, their marriages. There's lots of sanskars for a householder. And so you have to follow and do your work efficiently and appropriately for you to get salvation and go back to Goloka or Vaikuntha. So that is.
And how do we take this learning in a non-religious way? Like how can we apply it, these solar sanskars?
That whenever you are doing anything, have you sufficiently purified yourself to...
So how do we purify ourselves on a day-to-day basis to be a worthy recipient of any action that we do, Ma? So that that without this, because I believe that all this sacred knowledge, especially coming from the Vedas and the Bhagavad Gita and this song of the divine, is actually most useful because it is applicable for all human beings. So could you explain to us that how do we purify ourselves if we don't have mantras, we don't have healing also? So what are some ways that we can really check ourselves before becoming a parent, before going to school, before getting married, before starting a business, before any of the activities that you have delineated for us?
Srila Prabhupada used to say that there's a wonderment and there's a process of learning for an evolution for every soul. And he used to say that he was 3 months old when his mother, and she was, in the village, and she had taken him out of the hut to show him the sunrise. Right?
Oh, wow.
And then the next day, she had taken him out in the night to show him the moonrise. And he said that just that act of my mother had given me the sun in my right eye and the moon in my left eye, and my eyes are still twinkling and looking for that immense vibrations of the spiritual worlds. So things that people do with their children, somebody would say that, okay, this is the day that my child should go on a pilgrimage and should go to the temple. I recently, one of my nephews had a son, and from the hospital on day 2, they had already taken him on his first pilgrimage, right? So we're in the super fast jet age where everything is being done post haste. And then one day I was just talking to him and I said, what are you doing? So he said, oh, I'm eating something, and my son is smelling the different fruits and he's getting, entrenched. So I was just thinking that, sometimes we are playing the music, sometimes we are giving the fragrance, sometimes the touch. We are igniting that soul to have great intelligence and to open up all the faculties of... but finally, what the parents are thinking and doing is what's going to impregnate. It's not what you're pretending to do. What is your real consciousness? What is the energy of your home? What is the energy level of satisfaction within you? That's what's going to go into your child, not the, not the pretense of what you're doing, everything that's appropriate. Yes, it will impact the soul, but what is the real essence of your life journey? That is what the soul is going to imbibe and is going to carry forward. So we have to be very careful. We have to self-prepare. We have to, maybe take an affirmation that I'm a worthy recipient of the light. Maybe we can wake up every morning and write a journal of 3 things that we were grateful for yesterday. So, even if you don't have mantras, even if you're not religious, but you're just wanting to live life more beautifully, then whatever you're cooking it not just to fill your belly, but you're cooking it to give your 5 senses some pleasure. So in that seeking of pleasure, you're also seeking to please your family members, the elders in your family, and then finally the divine.
I think that's really beautiful. You make it simple, Ma. You make it so simple and accessible. So very grateful for the question.
So let's see if Ash has a follow-up question.
I'm not sure if he's here. Mr. Ash, are you here?
Okay.
I don't have a log of everyone that's logged in. Okay. So if Mr. Ash is here, if he has a follow-up question, he can go for it. There are other people who have related questions to what you've shared, Ma. May I go to them first?
Yeah, of course.
So we have Simran Sani, who shares that in Sikhism, there is no mundan. So how do they get rid of this karmic past?
That the Guru, when they hear the Guru Granth Sahib, it's already being eradicated. Trust the Guru.
And I think when they dip, when the ceremony Amrit Chakna happens, or also when the kada and especially the kirpan ceremony is cutting. The kirpan is cutting the karmic debt and the karmic record. So every lineage, Simran, has these provisions in their own way. Isn't that the understanding, Ma?
Yes, absolutely perfect.
Grateful, Ma. And then we have Inder, who's joining in from Canada, who says, ma'am, when we are with you, we get an amazing boost of energy and peace at the same time. Please bless us that this stays with us in this lifetime and forever.
Forever and ever. Take the light and live with the light.
I love that.
Eat the light, smell the light.
Drink the light, touch the light.
Breathe the light.
Taste the light.
And share the light with others.
Isn't that the most important? That is such a joyful association. And then we have Divya Seth Shah, who joins in. She says, absolutely lovely, Renuma. The path to awareness and ultimate bliss.
Oh, I love you. Stay happy.
So as we journey, Ma, in this happiness center, We have 2 technical questions. May I take them?
Yes.
So there's Mayuri Mehta from Bombay, who says that, ma'am, could you please explain what is a Guru Diksha?
Diksha is when you came to the healing and we did the attunement. That was Guru Diksha.
Ma'am, it's pausing. Ma'am is looking confused at me, but it's pausing. So you'll have to repeat, ma'am, from what is Shiksha.
Diksha, no? You said Diksha.
That was answered.
Yeah, Diksha was answered. And Shiksha is that when you come from buffering.
We're having some buffering issues. Yes,
satellite.
ma'am.
I'm sending healing to the satellite.
Yes, please go for it, ma'am.
So the Shiksha is that when you come to the seminar hall and I give you the manual and then I give you the instructions and I tell you how to heal and how to download that energy, that is all Shiksha.
And so at times our Diksha and Shiksha Guru are the same, and sometimes our Diksha and Shiksha Guru are different.
Because Srila Prabhupada had left the planet, and then, I had great love and affection for His Holiness Bhakti Charu Maharaj, and so he became my Shiksha Guru. So anything that I had to ask, I use. And right now, all of you are listening, I am your Shiksha Guru for this moment.
How beautiful. Yes, ma. And you are and Mayuri is for sure Diksha Guru as well.
Yes.
Very grateful. Naman.
Naman to you too for choosing me.
Yes, ma'am. And then we have Preeti Porwal, who says, Dear Ma, Charan Sparsh, which mantra should we chant in the Brahm Muhurat?
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya, or the Mahamantra Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. These are both very good mantras.
And then Simran says, thank you, Ma, so blessed that she's saying you light the light, Ma.
You light the light, yes.
That's so beautiful. And then we have Gurnaz Kaur, who says that her daughter Amira is saying that she is really enjoying this session and receiving lots of healings.
Love you both. Oh, sweet.
And then Rajni auntie is saying Dhanyavadam for Ma, your grace and your knowledge and the sharing. And yes, Mr. Ash is here. So he says, your words are no different from Lord Krishna's discourse on the battlefield. The ears are hungry to hear more, as if they have never heard anything such nectarine.
So sweet.
That's really blissful.
Nice.
I think that's a perfect place to say till we meet again. Very
Yes,
grateful,
absolutely.
Ma. Very grateful to each and every one of you listening in. Sending everyone big hugs of love and light, and requesting Ma to lead us in a chant, in a mantra, to just hold this nectarine bliss, as Mr. Ash expressed, into our day, into our week, into our lives, into many lifetimes.
So close your eyes and gently meditate on the sound of the Mahamantra. We'll chant it together 5 times to end the session. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hari Hari Bol.
Hari Hari Bol.
All glories to the assembled devotees.
And all glories to the Master.
Radhe Radhe.
Radhe Radhe.
Love you all. Stay well. Bye bye.